just forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Plus. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to, I'm singing this one, welcome to episode number 20 of
20.
See how I grabbed the microphone too like I'm a crooner? I'm basically Bublé. Before we start, Will, we've just had news in that ex-player and coach Paul Green has tragically passed away at the age of 49, which is awful news. That's so young. There's no real details yet, but full commiserations and to his family and friends. You knew him personally, obviously. So
sad, man. I've had haven't been coached by him, but obviously he's been in the rugby league sort of fraternity for a while, since the 90s, and highly respected man. Last time I saw him was last Origin, and we sat down and we had a couple of beers together. I think that was after he just got sacked from maybe I don't know. I think he was a Queensland coach, or something like that.
Coach, last year,
but he wasn't the North Queensland coach. So we had a good chat and just talking about football. He's always been a pretty good bloke to me. So it's a shame. I don't know. There's no details, but I just prayers up for his family and everyone who's close to him. That's just a tragedy, mate. He's 49 years old.
So young.
Fucking 42. It just scares the hell out of you, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's awful. I mean, and that's that sort of thing. You know, we were talking last week about your trip up to Broken Hill, Wilcannia, and how young the average age of death in a man in that region is only 37 or 38, and we were horrified by that. And then you've got someone, as well, 49. It just, hug the people you love.
He's got his young family and wife and everything like that. Everyone's going to be affected by that. It's terrible news, man.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
Awful. Yeah, that's starting the show with some bad news, which is, anyway. But as I said, we hope that everyone in the Green family's doing okay. That's terrible news. You were up speaking North Queensland, you were up there on the weekend.
It's in Bundaberg,
yeah.
I had a very busy week last week. I was doing some stuff for New South Wales Rugby League out in the country in Wagga. We were Wagga, doing this knock-on effect. It's pretty much like a ripple effect, going out, because there's a lot of deaths in country roads, drink driving, or people on their phones getting distracted. It's an accident every 41 minutes. You know what I mean? So there's it could be a crucial accident, or there's just some sort of accident. The stats are horrifying, absolutely horrifying. So it's got that bad that they've obviously got New South Wales Rugby League signing with Transport New South Wales, and we're out in the country into rural areas, just trying to teach these kids, just educate the kids about the ripple effect or the knock-on effect. Obviously, that's a rugby league analogy. The knock-on effect it could have for me driving, just say if you kill your mate, it's pretty raw.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yes, it is pretty raw. If I'm driving, you got three of your mates and I'm speeding or doing some, drinking or anything like that, and you three die and I survive, It's a lot of worst case scenarios. And yeah, I think it really sunk in because we were talking to the 16, 17, 18-year-olds. So it was good. We had about 2.5 days down in Wagga. Then I had to fly home on the same day. I think it was the Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, flew home Friday morning, 10 o'clock flight with the Bulldogs to Bundaberg on the Friday. Landed in Sydney. Obviously, everything's just been fucking delayed in country towns and stuff. At 10 past 8, had to go back home in peak hour traffic, get all my Bulldog stuff, and then get back to Sydney Airport. I made it but it was pretty hectic. And then I was up there till Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then in Brisbane Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, it's been non-stop.
I just can't cope with you being this busy. It's just so unusual. I spent the vast majority of my adult life with you harassing me at work, and now I'm doing nothing, and I can't get hold of you. You're too busy. No. It's ridiculous.
I think the Origin period and all this sort of travelling, because of the Bundaberg thing, and I do stuff for New South Wales Rugby League, because it's been on pause for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, because of a lot of things, and the travelling with teams. If you weren't part of that, if you weren't in the bubble, you weren't travelling. Now whole groups, whole teams are going up, members, board members, everyone, the whole club goes up.
Yeah.
And that was our home game as well. Like they're all travelling to New Zealand. I was like, no.
I did
Not
see,
a chance. I'll go to Bundaberg. It was 25 degrees. I'm not going to New Zealand.
I think it must have been Sunday night on the news maybe, and I was sitting there watching the news and Finn goes, Willie, there's Willie. There's Willie. And I look on the screen and there's you and Terry Lamb.
Bah.
And the only thing I could see was a table full of about 500 gins. And I was going, oh, that's good.
Oh, it was a great day. Great 3 days. Bundaberg was amazing. Obviously, we didn't come away with the 2 points. North Queensland's a good team. And we stuck with them for about, like, we could have got that game.
For sure.
Bit of class from North Queensland showed up, and the Val Holmes and all those sort of guys. That's why they're Origin and Australian players. We don't have those players yet. So, just we did go out there and we had a big dig on the field, and off the field was fun. Bundaberg was good, very hospitable.
Fun, was it, with the gins? The table full of gins.
We had big days, but it wasn't like big nights. It ain't like Sydney nightlife and stuff like that. So as soon as it was done with the clubs and stuff, with the going to whatever we had to do, the events and all that kind of stuff, I was done. I was home by like 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were kicking on or anything like that. So Kalki Moon is the gin sponsor. It was a gin sponsor for the week.
Yeah.
And that's why it was just unlimited gin. And they had these little bottles like that, and they were like 5%, and they were just mixed with some beautiful stuff, and that was one sip.
They look like throwdowns.
They were throwdowns,
Yeah.
mate. They were dangerous
And they were
throwdowns.
that like colour of that thing where you're like, that's an alco pop. You're basically just drinking.
Because I'm looking at, I'm not going to sit there
solo.
and smash beers all day. It was like, and Great Northern, good beer, but it's better on tap. I don't like it out of a can. And I said, what are those things? Oh, they're gin. I'm like,
straight in.
10 of those gins, please.
How do you reckon Terry Lamb's old 80s teammates of Bulldogs like seeing him drinking like seltzers on the TV?
They would have been disappointed.
They
would have been disappointed. And they all looked up, they were in front of him too.
They were too.
I was
I
sitting
knew
there
they were 90% yours.
Yeah. Oh, bar goes right.
The other thing, just quickly before we move on to rugby league news, what about Paul Gallen fighting Hodges and Hannant in the same night?
That's
you know what?
embarrassing.
If either, like,
Because I reckon Gal's going to win.
he'll beat them both.
He's going to beat both of yous up. What are you doing?
They must be getting paid so much money to get flogged. Two blokes.
Two guys.
Flogged in one night.
Imagine being part of that. Your legacy was that. Like they were two great football players, three great football players. Gal wins regardless. Like he's going to win.
One-on-one, he beats them both.
One-on-one, yeah. But he doesn't. If people know Paul Gallen, he doesn't get tired.
No.
He just does non-stop. And those blokes don't fight like he fights. They haven't had the caliber of that. Gal's like, he's been in wars.
He's fought Justice
That
Hume.
Justin Hooney kid was like, bashed him for 12 rounds.
Yeah,
and he fucking still didn't
copped
go
it.
down.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those guys, I love both. I love Benny. I love Hodjo. I love Gal. And I'm just like, fuck, Gal's going to fuck you both up. And I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to be that. I wouldn't want to play rugby league, greater rugby league career, everything like that. And I was like, yeah, two of us tried to bash Gal and we got bashed.
Well,
that's going to happen.
Well,
it's a big chance.
And then Gallen at the press conference goes to Hodges, I'll give you 5-1.
Yeah. And
I
he
was
didn't
like,
take
keep
it,
your 10 grand. Keep your 10 grand. Do not lose $10,000.
And I think he knew it.
He knew it. He's like, nah.
That's what happens when you fight for the wrong reasons.
Oh, you know what? Anyone who gets in the ring, I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who gets in the ring is brave.
They got balls, man.
but-
Hodjo and
Yeah.
Benny. But like, I don't.
But-
I think Hodjo's been calling him out one-on-one anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bad mistake, man.
Who gets to fight first? Imagine fighting.
Hodjo's fighting first.
Ben Hannett gets in there after he's already beat someone and gets beat. It's like,
Well, what happens if like Hodjo goes down within a minute?
he just
then-
goes, bring him straight out. I'm not going out of this ring. Bring him straight in now and I'll take him on.
Yeah, there's no breaks.
Well, they're saying that the Boxing Association might make him have 60 minutes between fights.
No.
But then he'll
I reckon Gal.
seize up. He wanted
Yeah,
this
I
fight.
think Gal wants to go. Like warm. If he gets rid of Hodjo within 3 rounds, you jump
Straight in.
straight the ropes
Yeah.
and get in.
He'd spar longer than that.
Mate, people don't understand that work ethic on that man. You've got to give nothing but respect. He's tough as hell, and it's not like he's not fighting world class fighters.
No. He's fighting a couple of ex-footballers.
A couple of ex-footballers. I don't think he does not care about that.
No.
Because he has spar partners rolling in like that as well.
He'd be doing 12 rounds against boxers. Like at training, he'd
He
be
ain't
doing
wor-
12 rounds.
he's not worried at all.
No. Anyway, that is another little circus at rugby.
That is the fucking
provided.
best.
It's just,
No
know,
limit. Georgie
it's
Rose
good on
on
him.
fire. Good on you, boys.
I think I said somewhere, I think this morning I read that he was saying that why don't they do it like a WWE? Where
Yeah, well, it's a tag team.
tag team.
It's like the British Bulldogs. You know, like I thought that's what I thought. So Benny's going to be hanging around the ropes, and then as soon as he's
cops one
tired,
of the-
bang, just tag
you
him
go.
in. Till one of them goes down.
What happens? Imagine though. What happens on the shoes on the other foot? What happens if Hodges catches him and Gallen gets knocked out.
Does
and then
Benny get coins still?
He still gets paid, doesn't he?
That's
He'd
what
be
he's
cheering.
like, please,
He'd be
get him,
like,
Hodjo.
please get
And
him.
Hodjo reckons he's going to knock him out.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's all
We'll see.
promoting.
Anyway,
No
good luck to
one's
Paul.
knocked Gal out. No one. And he's
No.
fought all the best fighters.
And he can, yeah.
And I don't think Hodjo's going to knock him out.
I don't think so. Anyway, we'll probably watch it because why not? It is
That
the
is
circus.
something I would watch.
Yeah, I
because
know.
it's fucking
'Cause
hilarious.
it's funny.
I think it's funny. Like
It's funny.
those two would want to fight Gal. They don't like him that much.
Yeah,
In Queensland, like Gal loves that shit, man.
yeah. He'll get paid,
And
then
he's getting paid.
He'll get paid.
He's getting paid.
One thing, we'll move on. Look, the biggest story of the week.
Sorry, just be like the tag team in wrestling.
I'd
Just
love
Benny
it to be
Hannah
that
just
way.
going, come on, with his hand out, come here, and he's like crawling along the ground and gets him finally.
He's on a standing 8 count, running to the side, just get in
with
there,
a chair.
Hannah.
Into
So
a real
tired.
fucking show.
I'm so tired. Spinal. So Ricky Stewart has dominated the press over the last little while because of his weak gutted dog comment.
What if he's just called him a dog? Would that be as bad?
Well, I like how the dog grew up. So he said he's a weak gutted dog as a kid, and now he's a weak gutted dog
As a
person.
man, as a person.
No, he said person.
He's not a man.
So he's a person. So
Okay, well,
he's
he's kept his eye on him.
look, I think the biggest thing here, right, is you're looking at a parent versus a coach. Now, there's obviously been speculation. No one actually knows. Ricky Stewart hasn't come out and said Paul Kent's come out in his defence, and now Paul Kent's getting hammered. Paul Kent handled it badly because he brought Mark Geyer into it, and I was like, that was, I understand what you're saying. That
What did he say?
As a parent, he said that Mark Geyer's been calling for him to get stood down, and Mark Geyer should understand as a parent because his daughter got dragged into that whole thing, and that had nothing to do with anything. So it was a pretty weak move from
Pick
Kent.
your
bringing
game
that
up, PK.
Yeah, but
I want to be in this journalist business, mate.
like us, factual. But my whole thing with this, Will, it was the wrong forum. There's no question it was the wrong forum. But if you're a parent and he's held on to that, like he's a proud parent, and if it is something to do with a family issue, and Ricky Stewart and his foundation, it's pretty clear that that
kid
he's got a very, very strong empathy towards that sphere of, I'm not going to say disability, I think his daughter's autistic or whatever, but if there was something said by a kid, I can understand why you look at it and you go, oh man, and you go, oh, well, he's held on to it for 12 years, he should have, that's not the forum. But at the end of the day, it's his kid. Like,
100%.
And as a coach, he probably could have handled it better by not bringing it up, but he's emotional and he's this and that.
Well, that's the way Sticky is. If you know him as a person, which I've known him for over 20 years, for one, he takes shit personal and he holds grudges.
Clearly,
and, yeah, clearly. And he doesn't give a fuck where he is. If he feels that way, he's going to tell you. What forum or whatever it is, doesn't have to be one-on-one with this kid. And if anything was said from that kid Salmon towards his daughter in any way which was derogatory or anything like that, which I'm not going to say it was facts, I'm pretty sure something like that happened.
From the emotion in it.
From the
you would
emotion
assume.
and from how Ricky was quite emotional when he said it, and angry and all those emotions and stuff. Like, something's happened. Sticky wouldn't call anyone out like that. Even when I was like thinking, what the fuck, what has this Salmon kid done to Sticky?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I just thought like Sticky just didn't like the kid. But obviously he goes a lot deeper than that, because no coach would ever say that about any other person unless something personal happened to him.
It's never going to be a football related thing,
It's not a football related thing.
Like,
That kid could be one of the worst players, piss head, all this sort of stuff, bad attitude. That just comes with rugby league, but it's personal. So just have a think about it if you are a parent at home or anything like that, what you would do. Maybe you'd handle it a little bit different, but you're not Ricky Stewart. Ricky Stewart does what the fuck he wants, and that's how he feels at the time. I stand by Ricky, what he said.
And he's apologised too.
What if that was my kid and someone did that? Doing exactly the same thing, probably worse.
I think the whole thing, I look at it now, and it's created such, like, everything creates such a...
Everything's a big deal
and everything
man.
happens.
Like, especially when I heard that, I was like, ooh, Ricky might be in the news for a while. Because I was like, what did he say? We got a dog? Oh, shit, a dog.
Twice. Not even a dog.
Like, he doubled down.
Yeah.
He doubled down. Yeah, he's a dog now. I was like, well, this guy's pissed Ricky off somewhere along the line, and obviously he has. So Ricky's like that, man. He would have waited for the perfect, I don't know, scenario where this was. And what did that kid do? Did he kick one of
He kicked
the
Starling
Raiders
in the
kids?
nuts. Well, I don't know if he kicked him in the nuts. I felt like, I don't know, these things happen. Like you can't. What I do know is that if someone that a coach didn't know kicked a bloke in the nuts, he's very unlikely the coach isn't going to attack his character, is he? He's going to go, mate, that was a shit act. He shouldn't have kicked him.
Well,
What a grub act.
exactly. He'd say that's a dog.
It's a dog
Say,
act.
that's a.
You could say that.
Yeah,
You're not going to call him a weak.
He was on the same track. Then he thought, oh,
I'm going harder. Yeah.
Motherfucker. So I can see with Ricky, like, yeah, it's gotten deep, and this kid shouldn't have said what he said, allegedly.
The funniest thing I think, Will, is they've handed down the punishment, right? So he gets fined 25 grand. You could buy a house with Ricky Stewart's fines for starters, but they've said you can't coach, you can't have contact with, you can't text your teammates.
This is from the NRL?
This is the NRL, right? This is a penalty for 7 days. Now, I feel like Dickie Puett is going to have a burner phone.
I feel like Ricky has got the whole team on a Zoom chat right now.
How are they policing that? Like,
Why
why
are they
say
the
it?
fucking FBI or CIA? You're the NRL. You can't police shit.
Give me your phone records.
Give me your phone records, Ricky. I'm going to give them to the police so they can waste thousands upon thousands of dollars so they can get... They ain't doing anything. Ricky's going to be doing Zoom things from his TV like this. We're looking at that. You got the whole team on there.
I don't
Ricky's
understand.
still a burner phone. That's what it'll be called. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll have his wife's computer. Like, are you serious? What are you going to sit around like?
How do they police
What a
it?
baby rule! Like, who do you think you're talking? Like, who are you policing here? A bunch of kids? Ricky's a grown ass man. Does what the hell he wants. He paid your fine. Now step off.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at that.
You can't coach your team,
coach
mate.
your
Who
team.
you talk like Ricky? You fucking talking to?
It's
Who's this come from? Volandis or the
no,
NRL?
well,
or?
Abdo announced it, so yeah, it's
so
the
it's
NRL.
the NRL.
But they had to do something because there's so much outrage about what he said. And look, I'm not condoning that Ricky Stewart had a go at a kid's character. I'm not saying that it's the right thing or the wrong thing. What I am saying is that ultimately, if it was just said in the press conference and then it wasn't blown up by the media, people wouldn't. Like, now everyone has to have an opinion because it's front page and everyone's going, oh, you can't say. You can say that.
He can say what he wants.
People say whatever they want. And now he's got fined and we should all just move on.
He said he said what he said. He got fined and he's apologised. What else do you want?
Yeah.
He's still going to coach his team. I think he'll
100%.
figure it out. He'll just come there with his little moustache like that.
How good a moustache is that?
He's growing his mullet back.
The other person that seems to have got his little knickers in the knot about words, sticks and stones may break my bones, William, but names will never hurt me. It appears names do hurt people, but they never used to. So David Clemmer got stood down last week.
I can't believe that shit.
Because he refused to come off with a trainer and he was rude to the trainer.
To Hayden Knowles.
Yeah. So explain to me, Will, tell me that, remember that time you did the microphone thing when you were playing for the Knights and you're on the sideline and you were going, tell Longneck I'm in.
Longneck.
Yeah, and tell him I'm in overtime. Like, you know, that was like, you're as a player, you're making comment about whether you can play, whether you can't play. Players want to play. You said that. You've been saying that for years, right? So Clemmer goes, I want to stay on. And now all of a sudden he gets stood down for a week. Like, I'd stand a bloke down who was saying, take me off, I'm busted.
Oh, my God. Clem's been one of their best all year as well. He's been outstanding. And, like, some players just don't want to come off. Mate, you should try to take, like, guys like Mark O'Mealy off. Like, the shit that we used to say to our trainer, I felt sorry for our trainer, Soupsy. Because just say if you had to grab me, just say because you know, like, some fun shit's about to happen and they might take you off just because they don't want you to go fucking
far,
nuts. Yeah. The things that was said to Scotty Campbell, he's a legend of the game, and he just knew that what we were like.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of fucking nut jobs in our team, man.
Yeah, you did.
And if you said it in the wrong way, or if it wasn't like the 35th minute or something, I was actually that tired, you're getting sprayed. Absolutely sprayed. Like, you try and take, like, even like Steve Price never really wanted to come off. You're like, fuck, you could see blokes on there, like, just shrugging their shoulders, get your hands off me, you know, like, fuck off. And, like, it's just like, oh, don't shoot the messenger. It's coming from the coach. He's like, fuck the coach too. Like, it's all going. But you say some really dumb shit in that heat of the moment because you're fired up.
Yeah.
And you don't, or you just don't want to come off because it's at that moment of the game when you think things are turning, or you're getting beat, you're pissed off at yourself, and all that kind of stuff. You might have dropped the ball. There's so many variables. And who handed the fine down? The Knights, obviously.
Well, the Knights did. Like,
why was it such a big deal? Because H has been around the game for ages.
I don't know. I think you look at it from the outside, and obviously I'm talking about it from the outside, as everybody is, apart from the people that are involved in the Knights. But it looks to me like it was around that time that they were trying to do the before the 1st of August deal with Para, and it looked like I feel like it's just a push out move with Clemmer. Like, he's taken up salary cap space, and they're sort of saying, well, let's put that squeeze on. But then I reckon what's happened is the players have gone, hang on a second, he rips in every week and he's our best forward, and like, why are you treating him like that?
You don't treat guys like Clem. He's highly respected within any player group, and he plays with a lot of passion. And the Knights have been pretty awful the last couple of weeks, and he's been their best player. He's just he just does that hard shit all through the middle and all that kind of stuff. So he doesn't deserve this. A week off, what's that going to do?
Just give him more motivation to come back this week and kill someone, really. But yeah, I think if you look at
and that's Clem on out of 10, he's probably at a 4 there.
Yeah.
He's fucking crazy, mate.
He chases opposition players after.
He's
the game,
crazy. Clem's crazy. Like that from Clem. That's all right. I could cop that. I'd like that if I was the coach. Is that all he said?
And Hayden Knowles has been around the game for a long time too. I actually remember.
I reckon H. I'm not sure if this is H's ordeal. Like, he might have just said what he said. Or, I don't know how. Pretty sure that they had the video on him, you could sort of lip read what he said, didn't it?
Well, I think he just refused to come off, and then he probably said a few swear words.
He did.
It's all...
I don't think H is that sort of bloke that would run to tell the coach, "Oh my God, you should have seen what David Clemens said to me."
I remember Hayden Knowles.
Hayden Knowles been around the game for a long time,
and
he would have been sprayed. He's a great guy,
and he was a good athlete when he was a kid.
He's a really good. He's one of the great guys in the game. So I doubt he would even try and cause a little bit of drama here. The club's causing the drama. And as you said, if you want to dig a little bit deeper, maybe they're trying to offload him.
I mean, maybe they're just trying to buy a halfback. But I think the other thing in terms of contract, speaking about David Clemmer, so Isaiah Papali'i, who he's probably the Eels' best performer in the forwards week in, week out. Yeah. They've got Paolo, but
Campbell
in terms
Gillard.
of 80 minutes, he goes hard, right? So the Tigers sign him 18 months ago, maybe 12, 18 months ago, on a deal worth $600,000 because the Eels have got no money. So he came across from the Warriors on a cut price deal to Parramatta, and then Parramatta were like, well, you're now our best forward, but we've got no money to compete. So the Tigers come in and they
had to upgrade Moses. They had to get Brown.
They've got
players
a
that have been
roster,
there for a while,
right? So then he backs up a terrific season with an even better season this year, really. And then the Tigers are a basket case, obviously, not with the coaching and all that. So now he's come out and said, well, hang on, I might not want to go there. From my perspective, and I know you'll probably have a different view because it's a business that sort of thing, but from my perspective, I look at the Tigers. Now, if the Tigers sign him 18 months ago and his form goes off a cliff and he ends up playing Reggie's this year, now the Tigers can't then turn around.
Or just say you bust your ACL.
100%, right? Or something happens. The Tigers can't then turn around and say, I'm going to backtrack on this deal. They don't have a choice. No.
Can they not? Okay.
I've seen players like Cherry Evans did his backflip, and there's some specific. Oh, that's right. He took your money. That's right.
Damn you, Cherry.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, that was your 300 games gone right there. Thank you, Titans. But I think the clubs can backflip, but I don't. But the players have the choice somehow where there's a certain amount of time before they can go, no, I'm coming. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So from my perspective,
they need to fix that shit up. But if that's the case.
The Tigers go, all right, well, we've signed Coruscant. We've got Papali'i.
New coach.
We've got a new coach. We've got Tim Sheens. We've got Benji Marshall. They've got some good young players that are starting to
Centre of excellence is going to be built. Grant, all that sort of stuff. So they've got a lot of things we're looking forward if you're a young kid.
And then if he backflips on them, well, they got a 600. They got an edge problem because they let go of Garner. Got rid of Tuolangi for next year.
I rate that Garner kid.
Yeah, they're both good footballers. He's a good line runner, Garner, and Tuolangi's been playing really well the last few weeks for him. So they've let those blokes go, knowing that they're going to have this bloke come. And then all of a sudden, it's like Newcastle with Mitchell Pearce leaving at the start of the season. They've got this huge hole just before they can't fill.
There's someone like we're not part of the administration or anything, but that needs to be fixed.
How do you let him walk?
But that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Like, but is that how it's contracted? Like, I was thinking, if I signed in 18 months, I've signed the deal. It's done.
Yeah.
Is that not how it is?
Well, Henry's going to look it up for us over the next.
I mean, I don't
while.
know. Or maybe, as we said, like, because players have been walking here, there, they can do whatever they want. Clubs can let go of a player who's got 3 years left.
Hang on.
When it's up to them. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it just works both ways.
Here we go. We've got. We'll likely wait until the off season to confirm whether. Imagine that, the off season. Like, so he turns up. It's first day of pre-season. He goes, "I'm not coming," and then West go, "Right, well, we don't have a back rower."
But I'm
We're
just
not
saying,
playing a left
like
edge.
just say with the club who's. That's what I think, because it's been happening so much in the last, just say 5 years. All these long-term deals and then players letting go with 3 years to go. I think there's so much grey area. If a player is in that position, like Papali is in this position where he's in a power position, he's like, oh, well, now Parramatta's come and go, maybe we can pay you about 700.
Well, they've lost Reid Marnie, and
That's
they
what
can
I'm saying.
probably, they can upgrade.
Maybe they can upgrade him. They didn't have the money before. Now they've moved pieces around. And now we can afford him. Like,
Here we
he
go.
probably never left.
Here we go. It would be utterly bizarre to see players in other sports remain at a club for 12 to 18 months after signing elsewhere, and yet it's commonplace in the NRL. A match like the Matt Burton soap opera last year, this is a tiresome story that won't go away. So there you go. Well, it should go away.
Well, I don't know who fixes this. This is way above our pay packet. But it shouldn't happen. There should be no grey area. You sign a contract, you deal with it.
did. Oh, here we go. Given the contract laws were changed a couple of years ago, the player has very little leverage unless there was a contract clause relating to Maguire being part of the club in 2023.
Well, that's it. There's always a clause in there.
Well,
there's a clause.
Managers.
That's what the managers are sort of looking after you all the time.
I hate managers.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's been good management there, because, like, just say it happened. The situation right now where Parramatta are building to something, and he never wanted to go in the first place, but because they didn't have money, and now they do have money. Now I want to stay. I don't want to go. His family's settled. Everything's settled. I don't want to move up and go to another whole club trying to build another culture and all that kind of stuff, where Parramatta's, they're pretty built. They're pretty set for the next 5 years, where they can actually make some moves and put a bit of a dent in the NRL and maybe win a flag, you know what I mean, or a premiership. So, like, I don't think this is ever going to be fixed because of what's been happening in the last 5 or 6 years. There's so much grey area.
They just got to make contracts mean something.
But you're never going to get a kid unless, and that final little clause in the contract. So if something happens, there's always a if, and you can use it.
Yeah, well, you should. I mean, ultimately,
and you should be able to use it
if it's there, and you'd be
that's
stupid
the way.
not to use it.
You'd be exactly. So it's in the players' power, and they're going to use it.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, it's not in our power.
No.
Because the clubs can get rid of us whenever they want. Pay your contract out. You might lose on a couple of 100,000 when you got 2 or 3 years left. Like, fuck you. This is just players having a little bit of power, and clubs hate it.
Yeah.
They hate it because they're not in power to fuck you over. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm all for it. If I was in that position like Papali'i, I don't want to leave. I never wanted to leave. Now you got cash, pay me, I'm staying. That's it. It's easy, but that's how players work. Yeah. I don't know that club. I don't know the coach. I'm happy here. I've been here for 2 years. I'm set here. My family's set. If I don't have to go, I'm not going. And I won't feel fucking bad at all not going to a club that I don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
That's how players are.
Yeah.
I'll fucking keep on stepping, and I'll roll into the preseason. I don't give a shit. Cop a little bit of bad publicity. He's not going to cop that much.
He will punt at Leichhardt Oval. They got enough
But he
problems.
doesn't care.
The collapsing
It's not like someone, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Put a sign up.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to fucking boo me for the whole game? Fuck you. Who cares? Like, that's how players are.
Well, you did get booed.
I don't give a shit.
You got booed. 2008, it was
exactly. And it
police
never
guard.
really fazed me. Do you think I lose sleep over that shit?
There were some hurtful things said about you that time. They love you again now, the Bulldogs fan. They love you. It's it's like a marriage.
Nothing happened.
It's a marriage that broke
Nothing
down.
happened. And people
it's
bring it
back
up these
again.
days. Get over it, mate.
That was what? That was
What happened back? I said, mate, get over it. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm part of the club now. Bye.
club. Yeah.
Want a gin? Gin, shut the fuck up. I don't need to talk about that.
Well, while we're on Papali'is, then Josh Papali'i has decided he's just come straight out and said he's playing for Samoa.
What a
And
boss move.
Unreal.
I love it.
Now,
I absolutely love it.
Queensland. State of origin, Queensland passion, dead.
No.
Dead. When Toto and
BK
Luai,
didn't know what was going on.
it was dead. Queensland's finished. There's no more
Queensland
passion.
spirit. It's
It's
gone.
gone. Just right
'cause
now,
of now.
died. R.I.P. Where's the publicity about that, Will? Like, New South Wales copped it. How much for those two blokes? Those two blokes, Toto had to come out and apologise. To say, I still want to play for, I'm sorry.
It's probably a lesson learned on how to handle that delicate situation.
Better than they did.
Don't say anything.
No.
Whatever you're feeling in your heart, kid, you say it after Origin, because while Origin's on, whatever you fucking say is amplified by 1,000.
Yeah.
That's a lesson to learn from any kid that's playing now. If you got anything other than to say about Origin, don't say it.
Just quietly announce it at the end of the series.
Exactly like
Papa
Big
Lee
Papa.
did, and no one cares.
No one cares, mate.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
And that's probably a bit of OG in him, been around the game for a
Yeah,
while.
smarter,
He's
yeah.
a bit smarter.
Knows.
It's not really talking with his heart. He knows it's all about Queensland. It's all about Game 3, all that sort of stuff, or winning Origin. It's not about my international game. Like, they just caught Toto slipping.
Yeah, well,
Because
they
he's a
asked
young
him
kid.
straight out. They
Because
go,
he's a
"What
young
are
kid,
you
man. It's
play
like,
for?"
he's a young kid and he's honest.
Yeah.
He's...
Told the
He
truth.
ain't been
about
around the
having-
game. He hasn't been around the game for that long, Like, he's only been in the game for 2 or 3 years, and they got him slipping, and he'll never... Lesson learned.
Don't tell the truth to journalists, kids.
Ever. Don't speak with your heart. They'll use it against you.
So I've left my favourite.
So what happens then? So I think Big Papa's going to go. Toto's going to go. I think that's just going to
Luai.
open a
there'll be heaps of
ripple
them.
effect now.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go.
Yep.
Daniel Holsworth is assistant coach.
Is he?
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
One of the ex-Bulldogs players. So he's a smart cat. They've still got, who's the head coach?
Matt Parrish.
Matt Parrish is still the head coach. Just do your thing, mate.
Matt Parrish.
Hopefully, as long as the players are coming over and they're playing and they're willing to break bread with Parrish, he's willing to break bread with them, get into the culture, dive right into it, get
It
the
sounds
players
like
in
they
there.
are.
Yeah, well, I think they must be. They
Yeah.
must be. And get that Samoan team in the top 4 or 5 where they belong.
Get Rennie back as a
Get some good people back around
Yeah.
the
setup.
around the international club.
Yeah, for
what I mean?
sure.
Like, you're gonna have Crichton. If all these big dogs,
They will.
What if Tino wants to play?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, because Tino's 21, he's gonna have a 10-year, 15-year career playing for Australia if he wants.
Yeah.
Does he just go, oh, well, I represented Samoa when I was younger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can sort of get it out of the way, and then you try and represent Australia for the next World Cup or the next 4 nations or whatever we play. So I think a lot of these kids are going to be thinking like that, because Big Papa holds a lot of energy within that group.
Very well respected.
Very highly respected and still one of the premier props in the game. He's going to be picked in the Australian side.
He would have been picked.
He would have been picked in the
Yeah.
Australian side. There's no doubt in my mind. And he's just gone, you know what? I'll represent Samoa in the World Cup. So that could be like a Taumalolo for
I
Fida.
reckon it is.
It's a
Yeah.
boss move, man. It's good. It's great for the national game. And these younger kids, man, they can show the way. They can show the way for these even younger kids who are 16, 17 years old. They're going to be in that position.
Yeah.
It's good. Good on him.
So my favourite story, I've left it till last because that's my favourite.
What is
So
it?
South Sydney Rabbitohs. South Sydney. South
He's just a
Sydney.
kid. He's a guy who doesn't cross Anzac Parade. And
Basically,
he doesn't go further.
I do occasionally. I do go. I don't mind.
Doesn't go further than Moseley Road
I like Maroubra. I like
and McPherson.
But South Sydney have signed a deal out at Homebush,
Please explain all this to
expecting
the punters.
expecting that the stadium upgrades are going to go ahead. The stadium upgrades don't go ahead, and they say,
So
"We'll
when
come
you
and
talk
play."
about stadium upgrades, they said they were going to upgrade Acor, didn't they?
Acor, yeah.
And then they went,
And then they went-
everyone just went, COVID, spend it
Nothing, yeah. And then all of a sudden, they've gone, oh, well, we'll play at the new football stadium. No, you won't. You won't, because you just signed out there. So at the
10-year
moment,
deal?
I think it was 10 years, yeah. So I think what's happened now is South Sydney will be playing, they'll be playing down in Daceyville at David Phillips Field. They've got to stand down there. The Borough will have to go and park near Roland Park. So
Wow.
they've got a centre of excellence. They could play at Heffron.
Man, Heffron should be a stadium. That
Like a
is
stadium in
massive
Heffron.
ground.
Yeah, it's big.
It's huge.
Anyway,
It's so great.
Enjoy Homebush, Souths.
Yeah,
it's
that's what they do. 10-year deal of Acor would have been millions.
You know what, though? It's venues New South Wales that run them both. I guarantee you.
Oh, they'll be playing 1 or 2 games.
I reckon what'll happen is they'll say, you know what, because they pay, like the
They
grounds
pay, I know,
pay.
yeah, I know.
They'll go, well, you can play there, but we're not paying you anything. It's your choice. And then they'll have to cop either a financial knock or
They will, and because you just get off the merch.
Yeah.
I think if they had that game at like the last game here, will be unreal. We're going to go to that.
Yeah,
We're going to go
sure.
there. But next year, I reckon South will probably play 2 games there. They'll have to, just for their fans. I mean, look, they got the most loyal fans, and they still get like 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not going as good as last year, but they'll still show up. Fucking far it is to Homebush on a Friday night. It's terrible, and they still do it. But South's got a big supporter base. Half of them would be out west anyway. But
remember when they got kicked out of the comp? That was good.
You were marching, weren't you? You were marching with Ray Deneen.
I was there.
Ray Martin.
Do you know Ben Tyrrell? Ben was playing for South at that stage.
Was he?
Yeah, he played 2 first grade games in 90. It must have been 99 or 98, and they kicked him out of the comp. Career over.
Yeah.
Sucked in, Ben. They offered him to go to the Cowboys,
Good
but
decision.
he said no. He missed Craig Coleman. All right, so
Trindle.
the Panthers and the Storm. This would have been a good game, except the Storm have got a Reggie side. The Panthers have got a Reggie side. It's like
This would have been the best. After
This would have
Origin,
been-
everyone's
yeah.
sort of, jostling for positions. Now we've got Luai, Cleary out.
No
I don't even want to watch
Hughes,
it.
no Pappenhausen.
I don't want to watch the game.
yeah, it's just
That's
not exciting.
That's how bad it is. You lose a couple of stars in this game now, and fucking people just turn off. Or
'Cause-
maybe that's just me.
No, look, do you know what, Will?
It's
the
got to be
same.
a quality game, man. I just don't want to sit there watching, and just listen to these fuckhead commentators. I'm like, oh, it does my head in.
I look at the Storm though. Like Storm last week playing Munster at fullback, he was ridiculous at fullback. Like that bloke is just a freak. But
man.
without, so they brought Munster back into the halves, but they've lost Jerome Hughes. So I
Big
look
loss.
at like it's a massive.
There was no damage
loss.
on his shoulder, but
Yeah, which is good.
so that they've still got a chance. I think he'd be out for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Just rest up to
Rest
the
up.
semi-finals.
They've
kid.
made the semi, so all right. Well, we won't talk about that game. It'd be good. You know, the thing that you just want to see,
That would have
the
been
best-
such a quality game.
the best
if
players.
everyone was playing right now at their peak after Origin, that's a game that you want to watch.
That's close to the grand final if they're both full strength sides.
So what's Pap out for the year?
He's gone. Hughes is out for a bit. Cleary's got 3 more weeks in jail. Luai's still injured.
Luai's a grade 2, man. Was it grade 2 or
Fisher
3?
Harris is out. He got suspended for something.
Oh.
It's like
Who?
Kick-out's back, is he?
Oh, people want to see the middles go hard. You
Yeah.
want to see Jesse and Fisher Harris go at it. Fucking that's enough to get me to turn it off and
Yep.
watch Union.
Except there's none on Thursday, so we'll probably watch it anyway. So
Watch something on Netflix.
watch the old Netflix. We could watch a rom-com together.
Watch
The Notebook.
furries together.
Furries. I don't know if anyone out there knows what a
Cartoon.
furry is.
It's a cartoon. It's on Netflix called Furries.
Oh, there is actually a documentary on it.
Yeah,
there
it's
actually
fucking
is.
disgusting.
Yeah, Henry's a furry. The Warriors against the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, mate. What about them? How good are they going?
They're going good, mate.
Yeah.
But as I said, quality guys like Val Holmes and even Townsend's kicking game and it's got quality. That Tuolangi and that Nanai and all that kind of stuff. They just stuck in there.
Yeah.
They stuck it in there because we were over them. We were all over them in that first half and even parts of that second half. But they end up just doing some quality stuff and they're a good team, man. Dearden's like come out of Origin. Like he's a fucking a killer.
Yeah.
Seriously, the confidence on that kid.
He's found levels.
He's found another level, and that's probably the level that they had on him coming out
When he was coming out of school,
school. Like, as I said, we'll go back to the development of players. Give the kid time. What's this? Is now his 3rd or 4th year?
Seabold.
You know what I mean? You rush him straight out of school, boys. Expect they can take on men.
Seabold gave him 3 games and brushed him.
Yeah, you
Good
don't
judge.
do that to kids, and they
Good
just got to
judge.
start from the bottom. And now he's showing potential. This is exactly where they do show potential.
How explain this to me, William? How is Mick Potter not in the conversation
For even a head coach.
for a head coach job? How is he not getting a head job?
Because I just don't think they take interims that serious because they know it just changes the whole, I don't know, like the change and all that kind of stuff. And, I just don't think, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like
I get
all
that
the
if
interims
it's-
come in and they go good.
if it's the last, except for Kamali, if it's the last 5 games of the year, I get it. They sacked him. They
Around
sacked
10, so
Barrett.
he's had
He's coached more than half the season, and their winning record in that half is phenomenal.
I think he should be up there with,
I don't know why they don't talk about him. And he did a good job at the Tigers too, to be honest. But they sack every coach. You walk in there, you're going to get 5 minutes at the Tigers.
It'd be different if they had like a Penrith roster and you fuck that up.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? It'd be like,
I know.
all right, you're gone. But,
You probably can't coach.
You probably can't coach. You know, if you fucking that system up. But have a look at their teams in the last 5 to 10 years. They haven't had a good roster.
No.
And, either the 9's down, 7, 6, 1. It's all over the place. And the forwards aren't really that good. They've never been known to be real tough and all that kind of stuff. They're known to be flashy and skillful.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Yeah. The whole DNA was that 2005-6 team. Yeah. When Robbie Farah's coming out doing tricky shit and Todd Payton's been a mad ball player, Heinington and all these guys were highly skilled. Yeah. Highly skilled. They were flashy as hell. Yeah. They weren't this tough sort of, that wasn't their DNA being these tough hardball like Penrith are, or like the Bulldogs are traditionally, all that kind of stuff. They play highly skilled football and they beat you with football. Like, that is your DNA, West Tigers. Try and sort of find that again. Maybe that's what Benji and Robbie are trying to install back. Yeah. Because that's what their fucking DNA is. They ain't going to sit there and try and go bash, bash, bash with you. No. They'll fucking beat you around the ruck with skill. Now, because everyone's very one-dimensional, they don't really coach these young kids how to pass or be highly skilled IQ or anything like that. Very robotic. This is your fucking product. This is it.
End
result. I think they're trying to sort of wind that clock back to that sort of era where players were highly skilled. We're coming out through all the 90s sort of schoolboys. We were highly skilled as big guys. You know what I mean? We got taught how to pass left to right, right to left, all that kind of stuff. You throw a ball in some front rowers' hands, some teams can barely pass a ball left to right, like more than 5 meters.
Yeah.
Spiral or end over end.
Yeah.
It's fucking frightening.
Yeah, it
is frightening. Anyway. Tigers, Sharks. Was that it?
No, we've got Eels, Rabbitohs. This should be a good game.
This will be the
best.
best.
The Rabbitohs are on fire.
This will be the best game of the round.
Rabbitohs are on fuego. Good on them too.
Fuego.
I don't mind watching.
Fuego, Rabbits. Fuego.
Do you reckon the Rabbitohs can make a run? I reckon they
fuego.
can. And fuego.
Well, they only got beat by 1 point against Cronulla. That was before they had went on a 2-game run. They lost. Now they come back again.
And what they did to the Warriors last week, they needed to call the Westpac chopper.
Yeah, it was done. It's pretty bad.
That was
bad.
Bad.
Latrell was untouchable.
I know.
Like, he's making line breaks like he was playing for Taree. Like him going back at club level.
At club.
Like, it's a fucking NRL team, you know what I mean? You've got to tackle this kid. He can make a Jared Haynes sort of run, 7 and 9, where he will just carry that whole team on his back, do some ridiculous individual stuff, elevate other people's games. He has that aura about him. He looks most happiest I've ever seen him. I want him to make a run.
Para at 245. That's quite disrespectful to Para, to be honest. They've been going all right. They beat Penrith a couple of weeks ago. The Roosters Cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys are 225. That's again. Do you know what? The Roosters must be ecstatic that this is the last game at the SCG, because it is the worst place in the world to watch a rectangular sport at. The worst ever. I love the SCG.
MCG's worse.
Yeah, that's true. Anything with a CG
because
in it.
It's bigger.
It's bigger. Yeah, you can't see a thing. Cowboys. I like the Cowboys.
Sorry, there's one time I was watching the New South Wales play, and I was up this corner, and Fox was on the left side corner. He was 200 metres away. Not even joking. It was that far away, because you've got to get onto the field and then back, like about 50 metres to even see that, and then 120 metres to the back corner. I was like, I can't see him.
Well, that was 27 gins.
You I was looking at the big screen.
Yeah. The Cowboys are going well, though.
Yeah,
they are. The Roosters, I tell you what, Matt Lodge, he has proved to be, when
Hargraves been outstanding too.
Lodge, Hargraves, Takiaho, and if Collins comes back, that's a pretty good middle rotation.
It's a fair middle.
Yeah.
Fair middle.
And that's where they've struggled a little bit, to be honest, is through that middle, because Warrior Hargraves has been injured a lot, and I mean, his form, he has just been phenomenal, to be honest.
Like young kids like Lodge would have looked up to him.
For sure.
Love playing him. Now you're playing alongside, and you would have hate playing him in his prime.
Yeah.
Now you're playing with him. Like, you're going to grow another leg. And I think Lodge has had that. Like, we said that about Lodge a couple of weeks ago. He could be outstanding for these guys.
And he has been.
Because he's toned down a lot of that hyper aggression shit.
Yeah.
And he's just playing football. He's got a nice pass on him. He understands the game. He's aggressive when he wants to be. And he's like this little tag team there with him and Hargraves. And if you get Lindsay Collins back, I'm worried about that kid.
Could be a Roosters.
But have you seen that another knockout?
Yeah, it's not good.
He needs to take care of his head. Like, I don't care how tough you are, mate. He's just getting. Well, his tackle tech needs to be fixed because he's coming in those tackles and just getting hit and collected in the head too many times.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence. Something's up. His tackle tech's off. So, mate, if I was Robbo, I'd be fucking getting Victor Radley to teach him how to tackle.
They're pretty good with their managing of head symptoms.
They're leading the way.
Yeah, they
Look
are.
what they've been doing.
Sharks will beat the Tigers. Tigers without Hastings are legless.
Nothing.
Did you see them
the
last
Knights
week?
beat them.
They could not. Every time they got anywhere near a scoring position, I was like, just give the ball to Dewey because he's the only bloke that
That's
can
why
do
no one
anything.
wants Brooks.
Yeah.
This is where Brooks has got to stand up against a team like Newcastle, which is quite beatable. They haven't been going that good.
You know he's injured.
Brooks? No, I didn't know.
He played
But if he was playing, he should have carved him up. All right? That's my point.
Good point. That's an excellent point. You know what? He didn't win. He wasn't playing. It's his fault. The Broncos.
Slated on Brooks.
The Broncos.
Sorry, Brooksy, you would have killed it.
How many gins did you have over the weekend?
I didn't watch that game.
No, I know. I did. I wish I hadn't. The Broncos versus the Knights. The Broncos win that. Mm-hmm. Broncos they need this win actually just to get out of.
They're in a bit of a
hole,
slump.
a bit of a slump.
Pump last week.
The Raiders getting coached by Mickey Pruitt.
Mickey Pruitt is not a bad coach.
He's a good coach.
A bit intense.
He's coming in with the beanie on.
He's intense.
He won't do the press conference.
I'd love if he just turned up and he's in the box with like a painted beard.
And a French beret.
Painted beard and fake cornrows. Looking like Kenny Powers.
They'll beat the Dragons. And the Titans, if you're the Titans, sign Mick Potter.
Yeah.
Verrills isn't 4-0. They'll go right next year with them. Look how positive I am for the Titans. There's still Aaron.
Because they've still got a decent pack, that's why.
Yeah, they do.
That's what sucks.
Manly.
Anyway.
Willie's Big Boys.
All right, here we go. One thing I do watch all the time is the big boys. They go hard. This guy hasn't really got that many points this year, but I've been watching him closely all year, and he's a good friend of mine. Toby Rudolph. He just does all the shitty things that you need one prop that's just big, ferocious, makes meters, all that sort of shit. Then you need like a Toby Rudolph. Makes all those good meters, plays big minutes, does all the cleanup around the ruck. Like he played against St. George. I'm saying St. George because it's a rivalry game. I know how much they hate each other. But he played 60 minutes, 16 hit-ups, 157 metres gained. You know what I mean? Like he does 27, 30 tackles, hardly any misses. Like he just does shit just like, you got to applaud the kid. And he does that week in, week out. Does it week in, week out. So he's a good kid. 2 votes goes for big Jared Warrior-Hargraves. I just think he's like, the Broncos have a fair pack. They're big and they're aggressive and they're young. Flegler, Haas, all these other kids. They missed Carrigan. They missed him big time. Just he's because he's been ball playing around the ruck a lot. But I'll read big JWH's stats out. 57 minutes, 15 hit-ups, 145 metres made, 30 tackles. All these guys I said all above 90% efficiency. 3 points goes to big Regan Campbell-Gillard because I know this is a rivalry match as well, so both teams are always up for this, Para and the Eagles. So his stats were 54 minutes. You're getting over 50, it's massive. 19 hit-ups, 203 metres. 20 tackles, no misses. That's what you want from your big boy. So that is for my big boys for the week. Leaderboard is so Campbell-Gillard on 11 points. He's coming third. Second is James Fisher-Harris and Junior Paul on 13. And first, Jason Taumalolo. So it's pretty tight up the top there. Guys like JWH and that. If he had played more games, he would have been having a lot more votes. But it seems about right. They're pretty much our best guys at the moment. So there you go. I didn't put my bet in. Fuck.
All right. Well, the producer won last week.
Oh, wow.
This is a momentous occasion because he has literally contributed nothing this year. And so
we won.
He won something.
No,
we
won.
Something. We all won. We all won. We won $323, meaning that we are over the $2,000 mark. So,
that's pretty good.
It's slow and steady wins the race. That's $2,000 still helps with a junior club. I don't think we'll be giving it to 2 junior clubs, splitting 1,000. This will be just the one, so we'll have to make sure that they do it properly this year. But my bet this week, I'm taking your Bulldogs head-to-head, the Sharks 13+, Manly head-to-head and the Raiders to cover 5.5 because of their wonderful new coach in the Beret. You're going to do a bet later, and we'll put that up somewhere, won't we? We'll do that. We can put it on social media.
Or do I just have to make it up now?
Go on. Pick 3 anytime try scorers. Just pick 3 now.
I was going to pick my big boys just then.
Go.
Off the top of my head.
3.
Right. So Alex Johnson.
Yep.
Cobbo.
Yep.
And who's the kid for Katoni Staggs?
We're going 2 from Brisbane. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going Katoni Staggs, Cobbo.
Because I think they're going to score some tries against the Knights.
They'll score some tries. Okay, so we'll put that down.
And just to win, I'm going to get the Broncos to win 13+.
I thought you just stopped, but no, we're still going. Here we go. Unbelievable.
Broncos to win 13+. What are the Roosters paying?
The Roosters are paying $1.65 against the Cowboys.
Give me your thing. Hang on.
You've got the same sheet.
Do I? No, I don't.
It's underneath.
Cowboys 1-12. That's it.
That's it. All right. We got that. That'll pay $8 million. And the producer has gone Storm, Bulldogs, Eels, which is $10 because
I feel like he's not even caring.
Doesn't care. Does not care.
Wakes up,
Tips.
just goes like that.
Hang on, is this 112 for the producer? That still count the one cheat? It's 111 for the producer, and I'm 5 ahead. All right. So, and the tips are Panthers, Bulldogs, Rabbitohs, Roosters, Sharks, Broncos, Raiders, Seagulls.
That's all of us.
Me and Will have gone the same.
So it's,
17.73 for Will's bet.
they could all score tries too, so I might be in.
You're always so positive. I love it. All right, let's have a look at the Twitter questions. All right, so Callan O'Neill. Callan, the great man O'Neill, wants to know what's the etiquette on how to speak to trainers. Well, there isn't one.
There's no etiquette. Just a little bit of respect. If you're a young kid, shut your mouth. If you've got some runs on the board, say what you want.
Yeah.
Just don't make it personal.
Don't make it personal.
I mean, you can tell them to fuck off and everything like they're used to that. But if you have a crack at them, say
You're a weak-gutted dog.
it's a bit of a no-no.
Dan would like to know if I could rock the red suit next podcast and go with the complete Ron Burgundy. Do you know what, Dan? I'll look into that for you. I will look into that.
Yeah.
I have many leather-bound books, and my office is deep mahogany.
He reads everything off the prompter. He does.
I will too. I'll read anything you put in front of me. All right. Well, that'll do. So we'll do some Twitter games this week, I reckon.
Yeah,
and
I'll be at home all week.
You're actually home. Do a rate and review.
I'll be at the Star, actually. I've got to watch a couple of games.
Yeah. And then Mason's Take. .com.au.
That's it.
.Nigeria. See you next week.
They'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Plus. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.